Hello guys, what is up and welcome to update number 1 of the O.5 Twister Deadeye slash Spirit Walker. We had a content reveal yesterday and I just watched it, like I skipped through it, and pretty much the things that I predicted are true. I never thought that a Shadow or Duelist class was coming out, but I said there is a high chance for a Beastmaster Ascendancy, and we got that in the form of the Spirit Walker. I also thought that things like Comet and Caster stuff will be tuned down. We don't really know that until they reveal the patch notes. Sorry guys, which will be I think in 2 weeks, and on the 20th I think they said, or something like that. And yeah, but as it looks like jewelry stuff that always had the problem of having a lot of damage mods, then accuracy, life, and stuff like that on the prefixes, and you only had mana, maybe rarity, maybe for people that don't play Chaos Inoculation they could also use the life, but you didn't really have prefixes that suit casters. Also, if you get the percentage damage, like increased chaos damage, cold damage, and something similar or something along those lines, it limits you to pretty much one damage type. It's really hard to get like a high increased damage with perfectly rarity and mana, or like you have to hit the perfect essence of mind on it and stuff like that. I don't want to end up ranting about mages. I think they're gonna be fine with the new crafting system that allows them to have better prefixes on jewelry. But the most important part is that this archetype that I'm trying to promote, and this build that I went through in my last video, is gonna be really, really, really good for people going for a second build, going for a second character. I think this is even really good if you start as a ranger class, do whatever you want, and then swap into this in the end game. Maybe even after finishing the Atlas, and if you want to keep playing this league, since it's gonna be a 6-month league, you can really farm the end game with this. You can be really fast. There will be a lot of new content that needs fast characters, so any ranger class will be good. And it will especially be good because of the new changes that are yes, we are going to talk about them. I'm just going to go through this build really quick because nobody's going to watch 2.5 hours of the last video where I was just yapping random stuff about it. The core essence of the build is pretty much having Whirling Slash as your movement skill, and to enable that you need the 3 attack speed supports. We don't know if they are going to add any new ones, but those are rapid attacks 3, since we don't care about Whirling Slash doing any damage. Rigwald's Ferocity in weapon set 1, so you get the increased attack speed and not damage. And you have Rage 3, which only the third one will give you attack speed while not being at maximum rage, which is like half the time or most of the time. Then the next one will be Twister, which really needs salvo. You will get a huge damage boost after reaching Garukans and Rakyatas. Before that, sorry guys, I was really sick after the last video and I just recovered, and I'm trying to just do a small update. Yeah, but basically you will put in pinpoint critical or something like that instead of Garukan's resolve, and Rakyata's flow can also be replaced by Prolonged Duration, Deliberation, and other support gems. But the essence is including Salvo to get the free seals to unleash more twisters. Then Barrage is pretty self-explanatory. It just makes, if you consume frenzy charges through your Barrage, it will multiply your twisters. So all you want is just having a chance to not remove charges and gain more benefits from the charges. And I put in Prolonged Duration just so it stays active for longer. You see, I have a lot of time to click my twisters again, which makes it just smooth, and having faster cooldown recovery is really nice. I didn't really like Second Wind, but you can play that instead of Prolonged Duration. It really depends on something specific for next league, and just rapid cutting to cast it faster. The spirit setup we talked about, and that's why the new updates are pretty much interesting for this build. We just have Combat Frenzy because we are a freeze build and we gain frenzy charges from it. Also, of course, the cold shots with the Sniper's Mark, which automatically will give us frenzy charges. And the pet, we talked about it, is for the ground surface because we are not playing Wake of Destruction boots. This will probably get nerfed in the patch notes. The Ghost Dance, Wind Dancer is not gonna get nerfed. And the Herald setup is optional and can be played with maybe new supports that are coming out, and maybe people figure out a new way to self-trigger them. This is the current setup to self-trigger them. You can see it either in the guide or on my last video. I didn't really work on the guide. I need some patch notes before I go back into the guide, but that will probably be my next update. For now, I just wanted to go through the build again really quickly. Of course, you need in your second weapon set a high crit weapon, and we're gonna talk about this in a second. The setup is just built around having very high evasion and very long freeze times and very high chance to freeze. Basically, extremely high attack mods on the prefixes. Very important. +3 to protch here, +3 to attack here. You want attack, not protch, because the heralds are also attacks. So you see they gain levels. Okay. And this is pretty much it for the gems and the equipment. If you want to have this detailed, you can go on PoE Ninja, check out this character, or just click on the guide that I posted below my last video. It's not a finished guide, it's just a placeholder, and it includes this build, I think, in the last section. So now frenzy charges are pretty much how this build works, right? Frenzy charges, power charges, endurance charges are just like green, blue, and red orbs orbiting around your character that can be generated through supports or certain interactions. And you can always press Alt, hover over something if you don't know what it's really doing. In PoE 2, frenzy charges don't do anything by themselves, but they can be expanded to do something. For example, here, empowering your next barrageable bow or projectile spear attack to repeat multiple times. Consumes your frenzy charges on use to add additional repeats. So we want frenzy charges just so we can off-screen everything with our twisters. As long as your build in 0.5 contains frenzy charges, and if you think about putting frenzy charges into the build, it should work. This one also is on a freeze setup for multiple reasons, and one is also frenzy charges, because you gain frenzy charges from combat frenzy when you freeze, electrocute, or pin. I think I had also something I had like a pin to randomly put into Wind Dancer, just in case, I get another frenzy charge. But basically, you just want to have random interactions and as many as possible to generate frenzy charges, because you're consuming them in every cast. Now, we also want to talk about the Ascendancy. The Deadeye has the called shots, which will be something I want to talk about in the near future when we look into the content reveal. And the Deadeye is also pretty much the fastest class because of this. And this is just a frenzy charge setup. You can also maybe, because you can't do it right now, you see when I press Alt on Lingering Horror, it tells me Isolation, Disgust are the liquid emotions I need to use in that order on my amulet to anoint this skill. Yeah? Anticipation doesn't have an anoint, no skills affected. They removed it because it had one. They moved it to another node. I don't remember which one it is, but as the recipe for this doesn't work or exist anymore. If this recipe starts existing again next league, this will be your best anoint. For now, I picked a very generic, cheap, and very good anoint, which is Storm Charged, and it synergizes really nicely with this build. You get elemental damage if you dealt a crit, you get crit chance, and with Harness the Elements and just some random extra cold and freeze build-up nodes, you're just gonna insta-freeze everything anyway. Also with this, and it just works because we don't have this. Yeah? This would be better. This will be a very good node in this build. Okay. The leveling and the progressing for next league will still be going for Lightning Arrow Deadeye until Act 3, Act 4. I would recommend still to just stay Deadeye up, to just stay Lightning Arrow Deadeye specifically, like a bow Deadeye, up until you're level 80. Level 80 plus. Because you really want to be able to equip the Ancestral Tiara, or this is like not the highest base, these are Quick Sleep shoes, level 75. Should have been the Daggerfoot shoes, the level 80 base. I just hit like triple T1 on this one, so I just kept this. And you also don't want move speed on boots. I also talked about that in the last video. You just want attack speed in your weapon set 1. So all you're going to look for is, also in your passive tree, your weapon set 1 is going to be full attack speed. You can also use this, for example. This is also attack speed. There are a lot of attack speed options. If you path through here, you could have taken this, which is good in both weapon slots. You can also go for Falcon Dive in other setups. It might even be better to not play this, but I don't think so. I think jewels are really good. And next league, we even get more jewel slots and more chances for jewels. So, yeah. Since this is a build that you don't want to league start from level 1, but you want to build into it, this will keep you occupied for probably a whole month or two with the new league, because all of the new crafting mechanics and all of the new options fit perfectly into this build. So you will be way stronger than this current league in the mid game, and the ceiling is like crazy. Like this build will completely explode. In the end game, it will be ultra fast. It will clear maps in under a minute. Like if you're fast at looting stuff and clicking stuff, you will literally be in the map for less than a minute. And now we should go into the content reveal. And after talking about it, I will probably also, if Ange gave me, I guess 5 is enough. I will also talk about how to get the companion. So let's just check out the content reveal real quick, because I want to talk about a couple of things shown in there.
Pharaoh is determined to learn these ancient ways and gain mastery over them. If you can bring him more Verisium, he will be able to use it to smith power into any armor, granting you Runic Ward, the power harnessed by the Kalgurans since ancient times. Runic Ward is a new resource that...
So we are getting Runic Ward, which will allow us to transition into Heris later. So we can go for a sleek jacket or a slipstrike vest. Yeah, we can go for a sleek jacket or a slipstrike vest. This is the level 65 base, this is the level 70 base, and yeah, those two are the best bases pretty much you can wear before Heris. Heris might not even be mandatory with the entire new patch and the new uniques that come out, so you can really play around with this build. And what I wanted to show is the ward, which is this thing. So you can get ward onto your gear now. This is completely broken, especially for evasion ES builds, because we already are pretty much unkillable. And the only thing that can kill us is a non-dodgeable boss mechanic that has a max hit of over 4,600 and is a phys hit, like a physical hit, because we don't play armor in this build and we have very little armor reduction, if any at all. So with the Runic Ward, it will prevent us even more from dying. So it's a huge buff to ranger classes, to especially this archetype, and it seems like it's pretty easy to just do that, even during the campaign, and then later getting Runic Ward on your items. Yeah, they show more runic stuff, but this is something to keep in mind, which will make this build even better. Let's jump to the next one. They got new skills.
You have basic buffs like Hollow Shell that guards all nearby allies, that creates a mark capable of pushing away all...
So we get new skills that have no attribute requirement and no color, so everybody can use them. If you're planning on playing a Deadeye, it has the cold shots that will automatically cast marks for you. This thing, you won't have that in the Spirit Walker setup, but if you play Deadeye, you have cold shots. And if you don't want to play Twister, or if you fail at doing so, you have a new mark for repulsion waves, knockback. You can do a pretty cool build with that. So even if you're starting Ranger, not doing the Deadeye, the Spirit Walker, going into Pathfinder, for example, because something went wrong or whatever, you still have a lot of options in the end game to build around all the new stuff. So you are pretty free to copy from creators, and you're pretty free to do your own thing. They also talked in the Q&A about implementing in-game build guides, and I'm very eager to play around with that. I have to play around with that and see if I can just send people the correct way to progress the build or something before like 1.0 comes out. Because of all the new stuff, We can all refine the build together. Next league, everybody will come out with new twister ideas and cool stuff. And maybe the build or the build guides are gonna get a lot better with the GGG support put into it. So yeah, new marks. Now, we also have a pretty big unique setup, but
Buried deep in the jungle in Act 3, you can find the Mystic Refuge, containing even more secrets for Pharaoh to learn from. Using this knowledge, he gains the ability to reforge unique weapons.
so we
With this technique, many
can reforge unique weapons. So we put in like trash can unique weapons, and then we get like extremely high base stats or higher modifier stats, or some get deleted and get a new thing or a new implicit. Like they showed a lot of different stuff here, and you can just watch the content reveal if you want to know all about that. I also just skipped through it, but that means that you can actually swap into this build in Act 2, in Act 3, in Act 4, if you have this option available already, because I don't know how the new league mechanic will work, and all the new crafting systems, if they are going to be thrown into the end game, like 90% of them, so you still have to wait for after the campaign. I don't know, but imagine a Sky Sliver with even more attack speed without extra rune slots, like just because you threw it in this new crafting mechanic, or a Tangle Tongue, which will be your spear of choice before being able to equip this level 78 one. So for 77 levels, not 77, like 50 levels, if you want to swap into this build early, you need Tangle Tongue in your second weapon set. This is mandatory. This is also mandatory for the first weapon set. If you don't play Sky Sliver in your first weapon set and Tangle Tongue in your second weapon set, you're not going to get through the campaign. You are going to get through the campaign 1 week later than your friends. Yeah. So if you can throw this in and get higher base stats, this will be insane. It might even be a weapon that you can play for a whole month before being able to really craft one that is better. Now let's go back to the reveal, because I was talking about how you want to be crit capped on 50 on this build because of Garakan's Resolve. This will let our crits crit. So basically, it will ask the hit itself, did you crit? If it says no, it will ask again, did you crit? If it then says yes, it will pick the yes outcome. So if it will always count twice. If one of them crits, you crit. If none of them crits, you don't crit. And if both of them crit, you crits. So that is insane amount of damage if both crit. So you want to get to 50% crit chance as quickly as possible. And you also want to have a lot of skill effect duration. The only skill that doesn't want that is Ghost Dance. It wants compressed duration. And maybe with the Runic Ward and the Ghost Dance nerf that are 100% coming, Ghost Dance is gonna get nerfed. I don't have to wait for the patch notes to tell you that. This is that. Yeah, you want to have prolonged duration in every single skill, and you want to have CDR in every single skill. So let's go back to the reveal.
them into a dual socket on your item. And there are even crafting meta runes that can unlock new types of mods when used with regular crafting. For example, this Rune of Chronomancy will unlock a set of time-related mods to be crafted on your boots. Once placed inside, use regular crafting orbs to attempt to get new mods like cooldown speed or increased skill effect duration.
He actually said it out loud, or increased skill effect duration, increased cooldown recovery rate. So basically perfect for this build. Just to keep this in mind, that you can now replace a rune socket for a jewel socket. So it will be way easier to get crit capped with that, since most of your sockets are not that important. Like, I don't need the extra increased armor, evasion, and energy shield from here if I have the runic ward underneath next season. So maybe I put a jewel socket in here. Maybe I put another jewel socket in here because I don't need the greater iron rune, which are greater iron runes are pretty much placeholders for when you figure out which runes you actually want to use. Since this build doesn't have runic ward yet, it actually wants the iron runes in the slots it's currently holding. But yeah, and Kugel's Gaze is really nice for a build that never dodge rolls, because this is your move skill, right? But yeah, it opens up very easy crit cap. Of course, my helmet also doesn't have crit. It should have crit. And the skill effect duration and cooldown recovery, especially if you take out Ghost Dance out of your next league build, which you shouldn't. Even a nerfed version is probably still good in here. But yeah, you don't care about it being mandatory with compressed duration, so you don't need to focus too much on dodging the increased skill effect duration that is globally affecting your character. So next season you can play Palm of the Dreamer. You can also do that now, but this is just better for this setup. And you can get more CDR, more skill effect duration, more jewels, more crit. Absolutely insane. Now let's look at some of the new bosses. Or maybe they have something, yeah.
To the ocean to find her. And this begins a new major mechanic for Expedition, exploring the ocean. Previously, a logbook was a single encounter. It's just a shame that Medved isn't as dead as you previously assumed.
Yeah, basically boss rooms like this will be all over the new league. You will have tons of new mechanics, and boss rooms like this are just... these bosses are gonna get one-shot by twisters, like, for sure. They're gonna bounce from here to here. If you want to see how the twisters work in a boss room or in a map, just go to my last video and skip through the video until I show gameplay, basically. I also had a comment on my last video saying that the maps weren't really representative and that I should do abyssal tablets with increased pit difficulty and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that right now, but I can assure you, like, over 100% the increased pit difficulty in a level 82 zone. And this has nothing to do with the build. This has to do with the fact that I am level 98 and I have access to a lot of points here. I am destroying increased difficulty pits on level 82 maps. It's not a hard map. Yeah, pretty irrelevant. But yeah, as soon as you get to this level, it's pretty hard to showcase a mid-game character or how it would look like. I would have to take off gear, take off points, and think about that stuff. But on this version, those maps would also look the same. Yeah. Let's go back into the reveal. So we're gonna have new crafting. We're gonna have new chase uniques. We can improve upon the uniques that we already had, and our build can use any unique basically for any slot, because it's very versatile depending on what you go for. I think the best one is the setup with the Saineku and the Hiri's Ire for the super long freezes. We're gonna have Mage Blood next league. I already told you that Headhunter is not good in this build. It's way better to have the Ingenuity belt with all the attack things here and so on. I can see a lot of belts being better than Headhunter next league. And yeah, just Spirit Touch skills crit amulet with the new Anoint. If we are able to get Anticipation, and Anticipation will make it so that when you release your twisters here, you see 2, 3. So with Anticipation, now you have 3. So way earlier. That's about the timing, and you will get a feel for it. For example, in the beginning, you will feel very sluggish, and the build will look a little bit like this. And when the build looks like this, it means you don't have enough attack speed in your weapon set 1. You don't have Rigwald's Ferocity yet. You probably don't have Rapid Attacks 3 or Rage 3, or you forgot something here. Maybe you don't have any skill speed or attack speed on your gloves, because if you don't play the Sign Echo, you still need speed. So you can't get skill speed, get attack speed as high as possible on the gloves, maybe even a rune with it, before swapping to like a jeweled rune. And yeah, then it should stop looking like this, and it will start looking more like this. And just stack your attack speed until it is smooth. You should reach about 9 attacks per second for it to look like this. Yeah. Right now in my hideout, I'm not producing a lot of twisters. Just check out my last video if you want to see how it really looks. It will produce hundreds of twisters that are going to off-screen every single creep. If you get a frenzy charge, I don't have a frenzy charge right now. Also, my companion leaves icy ground when enemies are nearby. There are no enemies nearby right now. Now, this next thing I'm going to show you is pretty insane if I can find it. Or I think Mage Blood was around here.
And defeating him will give you a piece of the effigy onto which you will action. The uniques in the reward window will turn into currency decision, I'm sure.
Yeah, here. The Foretold Bounty. So there will be a Mega Blood. And we might be able to incorporate it into this build. I don't yet. I don't know yet. I don't know what it does. I know what it does in PoE 1. But yeah, we have to see. And now for the really cool stuff. I think it's here, yeah? Is that it?
And the full armor set after completing all 8. So that covers all the content you'll encounter in Return of the Ancients. Ascendancy classes as well.
Ascendancy
But to introduce
classes.
them, I'll hand
Today, the Spirit Walker and the Martial
The
Artist.
Spirit Walker, let's go.
Let's start with the Huntress's new class, the Spirit Walker. The Spirit Walker has developed an affinity with the Asmerian animal spirits. She is able to infuse the power of multiple spirits at her choosing. On the bottom part of the class, you will find paths for each wisp you would like to commune with, be they primal, vivid, or wild. Each one can give you different abilities that align with the stag, owl, or bear. Each ability gives you a method to become possessed by wisps of that type, and a new ability when you spend them. The stag allows you to summon stampedes when you attack. The owl grants boons in the form of their feathers, which adds extra projectiles and enhances the projectile speed of your next.
So, the Spirit Walker is not going to be a ranger class, but Huntress and Ranger start at the same location in the tree, so it's also a dex class. It's a really fast dex class as well. And as you can see, that they even showcased some twister stuff, and you have like this shock ground here. Very interesting to have increased projectile speed, especially with a gem like projectile acceleration 3, which fits in naturally into this build and says increases in reduction to projectile speed also apply to projectile damage with supported skills. Yeah, very, very nice interaction if you want to do this build on Spirit Walker. Just remember, if you do this on Spirit Walker, you're gonna be a little less fast, have a little less frenzy charges. How would I say it? I mean, you can also see empowered skills fire 2 additional project. This is basically like a barrage built into the ascendancy of the Huntress. So you can copy paste this build onto the Huntress and play it with the companions, with the Owl especially. Also because I think this is also pretty interesting because its effects from quality already show me more damage and more max life, which is multiplicative to the increased damage and increased max life. And if you play Infernal Legion type build with this for massive explosions, this has also huge potential for other builds. So Huntress is really a really good choice for next league, even if you don't play Twisters. It's also something new. I mean, picking the Ranger will force you to play something that already exists, pretty much. So if you want to play the new thing, it's Monk with the Martial Artist, which I don't care about right now, but I will probably play it as maybe my second or third character if I don't start with the Huntress. But yeah, really, really nice. Exactly what I expected. We're getting an ascendancy which is related to beasts rather than a whole new class. And this is pretty much insane. Also, I think the
bear will maul, slap,
the Owl
combine all three of
leaves
them.
a
Then a
ground
new hit code
that
is
is
free,
pretty
and
broken.
enhance you take and grant you life regeneration.
Yes,
Your
the Owl from the new Huntress, soaring ground grants 30% increased evasion rating. We already have in my pretty weak setup, I would say, because I had like almost 100k evasion in my old setup. We have like 70k evasion right now. On soaring ground, we would have 30% increased evasion and 40% increased damage while on full life. And we are always full life because we are an evasion build and we don't get hit. And yeah, insane synergies revealed. And now for the absolute masterclass of a
stags will
reveal.
become betrayal. His other powers can give you large bonuses for using idle socketables in your equipment. And this one, which is my absolute favorite. The Spirit Walker, having attuned herself with nature, can gain the ability to tame beast bosses.
So we all heard that, right? We can tame beast bosses. This is going to be pretty much the last part of my video talking about this build. But yeah, man, I think if you want to play a Twister Spirit Walker, it is a good idea. It's just a good idea. You're gonna have so much fun, so much time. The league is gonna be half a year long. You can play around with so many different things. You can be like Ash Ketchum and catch your Pokemons and try out different beasts. And if you get into the end game, what you can do is you're going to buy pretty much the cheapest uncut spirit gem for the skill that you can pretty much pick, because they have a requirement of 4, 8, and 14. So if the skill that you want to upgrade This is the wrong one. This is for minions, I think. Or are both Tame Beast and Ray Spectre are normal gems? Maybe both are normal gems. Yeah, but for spirits, you basically want to check if you're cast on crit or something is a level 14, and then you buy the cheapest level 14 plus spirit gems. We don't need spirit right now, but you would basically do the same thing. So let's just get a couple of these. Yeah, and you would do this. You would go and get your tame beasts. And I'm gonna show you something real quick with that. So, you have your gems here. You can see on the top right that they only have 2 sockets and they also have 0 quality. So, if I use the Lesser Jeweler's Orb, I can put 3 onto them. With the Greater, I can put 4. And with the Perfect, I can put 5. But if I have 2, I don't need to go to 3. I can go to 4 immediately, from 2 to 4. And I can also go from 2 to 5 immediately. I can also go from 4 to 5. And this is pretty much just saving you this step. What you can also do is quality those up now. And we just want to raw Val Orb them. We're gonna do this here. And here. And here. So nothing happened here. This got -1 level from corruption, so this is dead. And this got minus quality, so this is dead. But you would pretty much want to do that until you hit one. You can also buy one. But depending... Yeah, now we get +1. And this is always... This happened the entire league. Always the 4th one was my +1. Like the entire league for every single skill. It was always the 4th one. So just don't give up, right? Then you have your Tamed Beast. And I'm gonna show you something really cool. This Tamed Beast now has +1 and is like level 19. I think I have to... Do I have to get that out? I don't know. I'm just gonna remove my companion. Now I have this Tamed Beast here. If I take a level 20 skill gem, yeah, and I go to my Tamed Beast, I can upgrade it, and now I have a level 21 gem, even though I corrupted it beforehand. So I can level over the corruption. And this is what you always want to do with the skill. Now I'm going to show you the next part, because if you want to farm bosses, like if you want to catch map bosses to have as a companion, you will have to figure it out next league. If you just want to farm your first companion with the icy ground, what you're going to do is you're going to walk backwards to the infested Baron from the Chimeral Wetlands until you find the camp. So you're going to go into the infested Barrens backwards. You can also try to create new instances, because there is one map layout where the camp will be right here, like immediately at the start of this thing. If it's not, we can just look for it, or we can reset the zone. I'm trying not to twister. I'm gonna do maybe one cast just to show you how it would look in a map. Like, you have a lot of twisters. But I don't want to accidentally kill the camp. Maybe this is a good room to show how the boss rooms will, like, yeah, you get what I mean. And it will hit the boss over and over again, and yeah. So we actually got a pretty bad layout. I should have just reset, because now I look like an idiot. You know what? Everybody is struggling in this game. I'm gonna struggle in this game. I'm not gonna cheat and reset the zone. I'm gonna find the camp. Like a struggling player would do, right? Where's my camp? I've been searching for 10 hours. Maybe I already killed something by accident by releasing another twister, but yeah. And this also shows you I don't know any map layouts or how to progress quickly through the campaign or something like that. I also have like a 6-7 hour, or why did I say that? But it's actually the real number. I have like a 6-7 campaign. I accidentally killed the mob that I was going for, so now we can actually reset the entire zone because I was talking and I screwed up. But this is the camp that we want to find, basically. Yeah, I'm not gonna cut that out. I'm just yeah. A very intelligent human being, but it seems like we get the same layout, because then it's just where we just went, right? I'm gonna use my normal walk just in case this is the beast in question. No. I'm so scared to kill it. Yes, perfect. So we get to Sebastian Caraway. And we have, like, we already hit the perfect one. Periodic, cold explode periodically unleashes... Ah, no, it doesn't have Trail of Ice. One of them seems to have Trail of Ice, right? No, but basically, we hit this checkpoint. Now we want to respawn at checkpoint. We also want to have one button with Tame Beast. And we're gonna respawn at this checkpoint until we basically could have taken that ice one right there. It was actually insane, but just to show you, you can respawn at this checkpoint as many times as you want, and you can play Ash Ketchum, you can play Pokemon. And you're just gonna check them. Powerful minions, useless. All damage, chills is nice. Wall attack wreck, useless. You just want the ground surface, depending on which build you're playing. So it can be the lightning ground, the fire ground, or the ice ground. And the ice ground is by far the best for what we are trying to do. Yeah. So these don't have it. You respawn and you do this over and over again. I'm just gonna capture, I think, the next one. Yeah, I'm just gonna capture a random one though. So you press your Tame Beast on them. Now they glow, and then you kill them. And now they go back into your Pokeball. And you have a boar that you can summon. I can't summon it right now because it would need, I think, Dialas. Yeah. Now I have this boar. And just go here. Or actually just go back like that and just slash hide out my way back. Yeah, the good old PoE2 loading. That's why I didn't want to use a portal, because I always have loading screens like that for both the Ziggurat encampment and my hideout. This is gonna be probably even longer now. Okay, very nice. Now we have this. This is my old one. It doesn't even have the +1. Like, it's just an old one that had the right mods. So I'm playing it. Okay, we have a companion. You can, by the way, you can also sell these companions. Like, you can be an actual Ash Ketchum, capture like thousands of different beasts, and especially if they have haste aura or something like that, and then sell them to other players. Now, I accidentally made a companion that I didn't want. Well, no problem. You just go to Zolin, you click disenchant items, you put it here, and you get back your tame beast, and you can do what I just did all over again and catch the perfect beast. You can also find those beasts in endgame maps. If you go for the Spirit Walker, you can go for a boss beast. The most important thing is just that the beast has the Trail of Ice. That is what I am looking for in this version of the build. If you want to know more about the build, you can skip through my old video. It's really not organized at all. It doesn't explain things very well, so I'm not really promoting it, but it has gameplay, so you can check the build in there. You can click the link in my last video for the build guide, because I'm probably not gonna put the link up here. I actually want to update it a little bit. I'm gonna see if I still kind of remember what I wanted to do with it, but it's just Mobalytics. Yeah, this is still a lot of placeholding, and you should ignore like these transitions before the endgame setup. This is when you should transition. Like when you can wear like level 70, level 80 gear, this is when you should transition. And before that, I don't think it feels the same. And if you look at my screen and you see, oh, he's so fast and so many twisters, and then you do it yourself and your build doesn't look like that at all, it's not good. So I want your build to feel great from the second you play it. You can definitely already, after Geonor, after hitting level 16, equip the Sky Sliver, and on level 26, like mid-act 2, equip the Tangle Tongue in your second weapon set, and you're gonna one-shot everything in the campaign. But I'm just saying, if you're league starting it, don't do it. Like, don't do spears, don't do twisters. If you're playing on the first day, play LA Deadeye, play something else, play the new Huntress with some other spear skills, try something out, do whatever. Don't do twister campaign on your first solo playthrough. If you have a friend that already played on the first day, you are joining on the second day, they are already level 40, 50 plus. They might have like 10 Exalts. They can buy you a Tangle Tongue or a Sky Sliver. Like, Sky Sliver will be probably like something like 20 Exalts, and Tangle Tongue will be 10 Exalts the first day, 1 or 2 Exalts the second day. I also showed you guys how to get Wake of Destruction, and Tangle Tongue and Sky Sliver are pretty much free. I showed you in my last video how to get them, and yeah, Sky Sliver is gonna be the expensive part. So if you have a friend that can provide you with a Sky Sliver from level 16, you can play this build from level 16. You don't have to do like LA Deadeye leveling. I'm just saying, if you start alone, solo, first day, don't do it. If you play anytime later and you have people playing with you, do it. Just start with twisters then. Yeah. Okay, so much about the rant. I didn't even know this skill gem thing looked like that. I have different memory of this thing. Maybe they changed it on the website. I don't know. But yeah. Let me check before Azek Box. Yes, because I didn't finish the tree for LA Deadeye, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. I'm gonna do it from my brain, from my head, because I already had a finished tree. But basically, if you stay LA Deadeye, you don't want to go for like the same things that the spear setup does. So you're gonna stay as close as possible to the damage nodes until after the campaign. You're gonna finish the campaign with 0 defenses if possible, because first of all, you will learn how to dodge things, and second of all, you won't learn how to dodge things because everything is gonna die. And yeah, you can just go through here, basically just to get more elemental damage. The freeze build-up doesn't matter. It's just because you get more damage pathing through here than through here. And you can go straight through the chance shock chance, and that's really good. And it paths perfectly through more shock chance, so you can go through here, get projectile damage, and get kite runner. I would go through the right side probably instead of the left side, even though I think you can also get increases and reductions to projectile speed also apply to damage with bows. So you could also go through this side, get 2% less damage but have more speed. Yes, but just going through here, taking a couple of these extra points, really great. Yes, why didn't I pick this? Very easy. It has penetrates 12% elemental resistances. If you're playing LA Deadeye, you are lightning damage based, and this one penetrates lightning. But the only boss in the entire campaign that has like up to that point. After that, there will be more bosses having that. The first boss that will have lightning resistance will be the Viper in Act 3 when you're around level 40. So only 1 point before fighting the Viper, you click this. Like, you actually put a point into this before fighting the Viper. And from then on out, it will actually be good. Yes, but only look for damage. So you go through here, you can pick up this. You can also pick up this if you're playing heralds already. You can also try some electrocute thing. Just don't go defensive on a LA Deadeye. Yeah, just don't do it. Just play the campaign with as much damage as possible. Yeah. For the jewels and stuff, I think there will be a lot of new things you can do next league. They have a new unique jewel that gives you even more jewel slots, so it's gonna be even easier to crit cap. We still have to wait for the patch notes before we know what the tree changes are. But yeah, this is pretty much the update I have for you on this build. Now after the content reveal, I will probably try to do another update after the patch notes are released, and then do an updated version of the build guide. If anyone is watching, you can let me know in the comments if it's clear that you're pathing like from here to here to here to here. Like if the progression is actually understandable for people, and after the end game transition, that you don't really path from one thing to another, but you actually have to do full respecs depending on what you want to do, because you don't have to copy the free stuff. You know, you can go through all of these things in the beginning, like your normal tree, and you can go through here and take maybe shock and maybe still play Wake of Destruction and go for something else. The trees are not set. I'm just saying this setup is the one I'm currently using, and it's a good skeleton for you to think about what you want to do with the build. I never recommend just blindly following and blindly copying something, especially with new supports being available in the next season. But this build archetype doesn't matter if it's on the Deadeye. Deadeye opens up more possibilities because you have cold shots and frenzy charges from the Sniper Smog. But it will probably be a lot more fun with a boss beast. With a boss beast that has some type of ground surface that will allow your twisters to adapt to an element. Yeah. Just let me know what you think about the build, what you think about my thoughts, and any suggestions. If it's very, very important for you guys that I do like a really, really hard map on this, I just don't want to play the game right now is the real thing. I'm just waiting for the new season and I'm burned out from playing this. I have been burned out from playing this character like 4 months ago. So this was a ton of fun, but even things that are a ton of fun, if you do them every day for a long period of time, you just want to do something else. So right now I'm not playing Path of Exile 2. I will come back to it for this season, and I will showcase as many things as I can if you people actually are interested in playing this build next season. And just let me know. And have a great day.